D-Lo 404 boxing. Alright, we'll talk about Devin Haney for a minute. We all know Devin Haney has an upcoming fight with Gamboa, one of my favorite fighters in the sport of boxing. A guy that I used to be highly critical of when he first came into the sport. I was very hard on him. Looked at his arrogance as an insult, and I laughed every time he got dropped when he was on his way up. But eventually, the fact that this guy always got up off the canvas and either stopped this man or dominated to win a unanimous decision, he won me over years ago. Okay? That said, that's who Devin Haney has next. You have people out there calling him a bum. You have people saying this is a dumb fight for Devin Haney. I know people want to see the Gary Russell Jr. fight, but quite frankly, we've seen Gamboa at 135 pounds. We've seen him hold his own with Tank Davis and fight his way all the way through the 12th round and got stopped late, but he was not unconscious. He was not out cold. He was not out on his feet. He was sitting there looking at the ref, ready to get up, and the ref saw enough and said, "No, we're going to stop it." But that said, he did all of that on a bad Achilles and, gave a great account of himself, in my opinion, in a losing effort against a man that was, almost young enough to be his son. Okay? That said, here he is facing off against Devin Haney, and a lot of people don't want to give credit to that fight, so they're dismissing him. But right now, that's probably a great fight for Devin Haney, considering that he will be the best fighter that Devin Haney has faced to date. And quite frankly, Gamboa is a more accomplished fighter than Gary Russell Jr. in the sport of boxing. And Gary Russell Jr. has never seen a weight above 126 pounds. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love to have seen the Gary Russell Jr. fight, and I hope that fight happens down the line, and I can't wait to see it. I used to feel like I couldn't wait to see Gary Russell Jr. versus Gamboa when they were both around the same weight limit. But that said, that fight never came to fruition. Okay? But what I will say is disheartening to hear. Devin Haney has the 135-pound title. But all you hear from the two guys that are fighting in a unification bout, who is Teofimo Lopez and Vasyl Lomachenko, you hear Lomachenko talking about moving down in weight after his fight to 130. You hear Teofimo Lopez talking about moving up to 140 after the fight. You don't hear a whole lot about the guys talking about they want to fight Devin Haney. Now, I will say that over the last 24 hours, I have seen some reports and heard some chatter that Lomachenko and Devin Haney have started going back and forth about possibly facing each other should Lomachenko be successful. And then Devin Haney and Lomachenko could fight for a true unification bout at 135 pounds, because Devin Haney is a 135-pound champion at WBC. Teofimo Lopez is the IBF champion, if I'm not mistaken. And then Lomachenko holds the WBO championship and the WBA Super Championship. So with that said, those two coming together, Teo and Lomachenko, they're going to bring three of the belts together: WBA, IBF, and the WBO. But you'll still have, you'll still have Devin Haney out there with that WBC championship that Lomachenko vacated. So if those two can come together and make a fight, that will be an undisputed fight at 135 pounds. And that makes me want to root for Lomachenko to beat Teofimo Lopez, should he be really and truly interested in making a fight with Devin Haney, which I feel like he should, because a lot of people feel like he ducked Devin Haney. A lot of people feel like Devin Haney is only a champion because Lomachenko had no interest in facing him and chose to vacate his title. So, that being said, I'm eager to see how this fight plays out when they fight each other. But this video isn't about them. This video is about Devin Haney and where he stands right now. I feel like he's in the right fight at the right time versus Gamboa. I want to support that fight. I want to urge boxing fans who are a fan of good fights being made and a fan of guys being moved along at a decent clip, at a good pace, to go out and support that fight. Tune in, support that fight, and give the guy credit if he should be able to beat Gamboa. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even ready to say right now that he's going to beat Gamboa. But like I said, Gamboa is one of my favorite fighters, and I will openly and honestly admit that I'm biased toward Gamboa. D-Lo 404 Box, I'm out. Peace.